Hey, welcome Monday, breaktheboard.com with John here. Big weekend. Had some really nice wins. Sam Houston State plus the 10.5. They come through outright. Then we had UNLV money line. I tell you what, that quarterback, he's awful sorry he left. UNLV rolls to the win for us. Did have the loss with Kansas. Big win with Colorado, catching 14.5. We won that one outright. New Mexico State, they slide in late with the backdoor cover. Nothing like slipping through the back door late to get a cover there. So that worked out well for us. In the NFL, the Jets ruined the money line parlay with the Bengals. I tell you what, how do you not even score a freaking touchdown? Aaron Rodgers and the Jets just looked absolutely pathetic. I don't know what to make of that team. Sometimes I'm like, all right, win the There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully, y'all got to hear what we're talking about. But I was saying Detroit Tigers plus the money would be the lean. You also have the Baltimore Orioles and the Kansas City Royals. Now, the Orioles have taken 8 of the last 10 against the Kansas City Royals. They're going to be throwing Corbin Burns out in game one of this game one of this series tomorrow. Burns minus $1.62 plus 135 on the comeback for the Southpaw Cole Reagans and the Royals again. Tigers, Astros, Royals, Orioles. However, these other matchups in the National League workout, you can follow us on X. Again, click subscribe down here. Again, apologize for two things. One, a lot of technical difficulties today. And also, when we look at, we got some construction going on here. So I do apologize for that as well. Moving over to the NFL tonight, we got the Tennessee Titans and the Miami Dolphins in game one of that doubleheader. Game two of that, we have Detroit Lions and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, right now, Miami minus 2.5 against the Titans, over under 37.5. Now, look, Miami in all kinds of trouble. They got new quarterback Tyrod Huntley will be starting for them. He'll get the nod here tonight at quarterback for Miami. Miami and Tennessee. Now, look, Will Levis, some pretty crazy stuff with him. Obviously, he has not played well whatsoever, has really struggled all year long. The total has gone under in Tennessee, 9 of their last 11 games on the road, and they've went under the total 11 of the last 14, 11 of the last 15 in Miami. Now, Miami, same thing for them at home. Under is hit in their last 5 games, hence why that over-under is so short there with these two teams. Levis has been a turnover machine, just really bad decisions, not playing good football whatsoever for the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Titans, they have hit the first half money line 13 of their last 20 games. If you had followed that trend, you're up 9.55 units, 38% return on your investment. They've also covered the first half spread 12 of their last 20 games. You'd be up 3 units for a 13% return on your investment on that piece. Now, look, without Tua, the Miami Dolphins have really, really struggled. Without Tua, they just cannot score. They've scored 21 or less in 6 of the 7 games without him. I don't think the defense is going to have a whole lot of resistance on either side. Titans hasn't looked good, but look, Miami's hasn't looked good. I know they had Jalen Ramsey, but listen, with Vic Fangio taking off there and him leaving, you got Chubb, all those guys, they just have not played well at all. Now, Will Levis, he's made 12 starts in his career. He's 8-4 ATS in the first half, 1-11 ATS in the second half. So he has just not played well at all. I mean, Will Levis, I don't know how you can back that guy. But listen, I'm not all excited to take Miami either. Tyler Huntley just showed up. I know people want to make the comparison to Dobbs, right? Last year with Minnesota and Cincinnati and Arizona and how good he was. But listen, I think you got to be realistic here. I think it's Titans plus 2.5. If you could get a 3, I would absolutely like that more. But with this line, it's probably going to be a stay away. I do like if you were to say, hey, I want to put the Titans in a 2-team teaser, get the Titans up to 8.5 and a 6-pointer, I would be game for that. Detroit Lions and the Seattle Seahawks go next. Now, look, the Lions are laying 4 over under 47. 67% of the bets, 73% of the handle are on the Detroit Lions. 33% of bets on the Seattle Seahawks, 27% of the handle on the Lions, or on the Seahawks rather. Seahawks coming in 3-0. This is a big game for the Lions. They lost their home opener. They haven't played all that well. Jared Goff has not been on target. He is, I mean, he's won 8 consecutive starts at home at nighttime. And he's 4-0 straight up with the Lions in night games. But the Lions offense hasn't looked the way it should. Now, McDonald, the new head coach of the Seattle, he's coming over with that defense. Expect Seattle to get after it. They have Geno Smith and Jigba. That's another thing. Detroit's secondary has Aiden Hutchinson in the game, have been good up front. Secondary has been very, very susceptible. Geno 3-9 straight up, but 9-3 ATS at night on the road. So he's played very well there. Jared Goff in his career 12-3 straight up in night games at home, 5-2 straight up on Monday Night Football. Now look, the last 3 seasons these teams have played each other, 68, 93, and 80 have been the combined point totals. Seahawks defense, we talked about how they've been lights out. They're the first team in the NFL to start 3-0 and allow fewer than 150 yards passing in each game. That's the first time that's happened since the 1979 Steelers. So again, Jared Goff, he'll have to get over that. Now, Geno Smith is an underdog in his career, 22-17-2 against the spread as an underdog. Geno is an underdog, 22-17-2. But same thing, he struggled in that spot. So though his record is very good, he struggled in that scenario as of late. 4-7 against the spread his last 11 games in that spot. Kenneth Walker, he's still out. Aiden Hutchinson, we talked about him for the Lions. He leads the NFL in sacks, 6.5. I really think this game's really going to come down to Jared Goff more than anything. He has got to play well in this matchup tonight. He's really struggled at times so far. Didn't look that good at Arizona. Like, I know they got the win, but after watching what Washington's offense was able to do yesterday, and Jalen Daniels, whoo, my goodness, that guy's on fire. To watch what he was able to do and then look at the Detroit Lions, what they did against Arizona, it just gives you reason to pause. Look, head-to-head, Seahawks have taken the last 6 matchups and have won 8 of the last 9 against Detroit. Last year, 37-31 win in overtime in Detroit. The year before that, they were in Detroit again. Seattle won 48-45. And then in the playoffs, the year before that, the game was in Seattle. Seattle absolutely smashed them 51-29. So Seattle has owned Detroit here. The fact that you could be catching 4 or 4.5 points, I think that's good value. Listen, we just talked about the Titans in a 6-point teaser, right? Titans up to 8.5 with the Seahawks now plus 10.5 in a 6-point teaser. I think that's good value. Even if the Lions get the win here, I can't see them blowing the other team out. As to where yesterday with Baltimore, I was like, if Baltimore wins this game, they're going to blow out Buffalo. Buffalo, so many injuries. They hadn't really played any good teams. I just felt like that was a bad spot for Buffalo. As to where here, I think Seattle, Detroit, that one's going to go right down to the end in this one. When you look at some other trends here, Seattle has hit the first quarter money line 5 of their last 11 games. If you had followed that trend, you're up 5.65 units. Good for a 44% return on your investment. Here's a good one. Seahawks have covered the first half spread 8 of their last 11 games on the road. If you had just blindly followed that, you're up 4.75 units, 39% return on your investment there. And again, they've hit the money line overall 13 of the last 21 games. If you just played that, you would be up 4.7 units. When you flip over to the Detroit Lions, the Lions have covered the spread 16 of their last 21. They've been an absolute covering machine, put you up 10.5 units, 46% return on your investment. They've had the first half spread 15 of their last 21 games. So they've been strong in the first half, just like Seattle has. 8.2 units, 35% return on your investment for the Lions. And they've hit the money line 15 of their last 21 games overall. That would put you up 6.6 units, 15% return on your investment. Again, Seattle taking the points here. I can see that. I do think the Lions get the win. And the Titans, I like them if you put them in any kind of teaser situation. Again, breaktheboardsports.com. If you go in, put in the code winners24, you get the next week free. First week you sign up free. After that, you can cancel if you want, but you'll go in, you'll get access to all the notes to help you be a better handicapper. We will give you plays every week, but the thing that's more important is not following our plays, helping you to form your own opinion to be a better handicapper yourself. I think everybody at some point in time needs to get to the point where they can do their own handicapping, not just look and say, hey, I like this game, this game, this game, this game. If you're doing that lately, you're getting absolutely pounded so far this year. Just look at like Circa Millions, the top 2 or 3 selections almost every week have been X-nayed off the board. Running through the very quick NFL card, looking ahead so you can bookmark these. And then when we have Friday's show again, we've moved to just Monday and Fridays, 9:30 Eastern time. But if you look at Tampa Bay at Atlanta on Thursday Night Football, Atlanta, a 2.5-point home favored. Right now, handle's pretty much split. They're laying 2.5 to Tampa. The New York Jets will travel to London to play the undefeated Minnesota Vikings. So look, it's just the way the NFL is, folks. I'm really pissed off at the Jets. They cost me a lot of money. They haven't played well. Minnesota's been lights out 4-0. I didn't think Minnesota would go into Green Bay and lose, or go into Green Bay and win yesterday. They proved me wrong. So Minnesota, 2.5-point favored. I'm just telling you the way the NFL's been, the Jets will go in there and win that game. That's just how things have been this year. Bears, they'll host the Panthers in the Toilet Bowl. Bears laying 4. They're coming off a nice win and cover against the Rams. Don't really know if I can get down with the Bears laying 4 or not to Carolina, but we'll see how that goes. Carolina's defense was absolutely shredded by Joe Burrow yesterday. Ravens on the road to Cincinnati. This is a big one. Cincinnati, they finally got off the schneid. Now they're 1-3. If the Bengals can get this game, they're right back in it at 2-3. If they lose this to go to 1-4, that's just, that's a really bad spot. They're catching 2.5 as a 2.5-point dog. Right off the bat, I like the Bengals in that game. Buffalo laying 1 at Houston. Buffalo coming off getting shellacked yesterday. Houston with the comeback over Jacksonville. Houston absolutely owns Jacksonville. They're catching 1 now at home. All the bets and all the handle right now are on Buffalo. That originally opened Texans -1, so that line is completely flipped now. Colts at the Jaguars. Jaguars laying 2.5. Public service announcement. First of all, not sure of Anthony Richardson's status. One thing's for sure, dude, you got to get down. You're going to kill your shoulder. Joe Flacco came in, got him to the win. But listen, put everything you own on Jacksonville to avoid going 0-5. I like the Jaguars in this spot. Already played them on the money line. It's my favorite bet of the week. Jacksonville at home on the money line. Dolphins, a 1-point favorite at New England. Not sure I can get down on that. New England, even though they got beat by San Francisco and San Francisco covered, New England just has flashes and they're really scrappy. Miami, I guess we'll learn more about them tonight after they play Will Levis and the Titans. Not that that's a good barometer because I think Tennessee stinks, but Patriots as a dog here, I think it's right, -1. I just would have had the Patriots flip the other way as a 1-point favorite, but we'll see after tonight. Cleveland and Deshaun Watson and that horrible offensive line, they will travel to Washington, and Jalen Daniels, who's red hot, he's taking over the lead in the MVP, offensive rookie of the year and MVP right now. He can make a stance for that too. Washington, a 3.5-point home favored over the Brownies. Raiders will travel to Denver. Bo Nix and Denver getting that win yesterday. Raiders getting the win over the Brownies. Denver laying 2.5 at Mile High against the Raiders. Arizona will travel to San Francisco. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Just the offense, the defense has actually started playing better. And then yesterday, they got absolutely smoked by Washington. So don't really know what to make of the Cardinals right now. San Francisco, a 7.5-point favored. Bets are split, but all the money is on Arizona at the current time. Packers, they'll travel to the Rams. The Rams are just so beat up. Packers laying 3.5 with Jordan Love and company. Packers needing a win. Rams, they're hanging on by a thread. Giants at the Seahawks. Seahawks obviously in action tonight at Detroit. They'll be at home laying 6 to the Giants. And then Sunday Night Football, Steelers laying 2 to the Dallas Cowboys. This opened up 1. The bets and handle are going the Cowboys' way, but yet the line moves up to 2. I don't like Dallas in this spot. I don't think their offense is going to be able to do much against Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh, we had the Colts yesterday plus the 3. Again, things are about spots, style, make fights. I do not think this is a good fight for the Dallas Cowboys, especially if Micah Parsons and that high ankle sprain limits him in any way, shape, or form. Justin Fields showed some really nice flashes. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers to get back in the winner's circle and give Dallas the loss here. And then Monday night, can't wait for this one. Chiefs laying 5.5 at home to the New Orleans Saints. Chiefs have gotten by. They're 4-0, but in no way, shape, or form can you, with a straight face, say that they have looked good. So in this one, I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to wait. I think this line gets to 6. If it gets to 6, I'll lay $1.30 and buy the point to 7. I think the Saints are the play this coming week. So that's what I'll be looking at. Flipping over to college basketball. Texas State and Troy will head off Thursday night. Texas State laying 14.5. They gave up that come from behind win to Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State also in action Thursday, who we had. They had the big win coming back as a 10.5 point dog. We got the cover and the outright. They'll be at UTEP. Friday, Jacksonville State will be battling at Kennesaw State. Some of the other big matchups here to look at. Michigan State will be at Oregon Friday night. Oregon laying 24. Syracuse at UNLV. This one just keeps ticking up after UNLV's impressive win. It's got UNLV as a 5-point favorite. I'll have some notes and stuff, and we'll touch on this a little bit more Friday morning. But I got to tell you, first instinct is I like Kyle McCord in Syracuse. They burnt me earlier this year at home against Stanford. But I like Syracuse in this spot. I want to see, it's already crept up from 2.5 to 5. The line's doubled. How high will it go? Everybody's really high on UNLV. They should be, but I just think we're starting to get to where it's a little bit too many points. SMU at Louisville. Again, big win this weekend for us in both the teaser with Bama and the moneyline parlay with Michigan. Notre Dame came home for us. SMU will travel to Louisville. Louisville is 6.5 in some spots. There are a couple 7-point favorite over SMU. That looks to be a fun one. Haven't been able to figure this game out. Boston College at Virginia, and Virginia's laying 3.5. I don't really see where Virginia should be laying 3.5 to anybody, much less Boston College. So I got my eye on that one. Missouri at Texas A&M. Texas A&M's a 1.5-point favorite. That's the big SEC game of the week. Missouri ranked number 9 in the country. Texas A&M ranked 25th. This is a big spot for Missouri when we talk about college football playoffs. Obviously, we saw Ole Miss fall. I was there at the game. Shout out to Ole Miss, the Grove. That was amazing experience. Looking forward to my next football stadium to visit this year. Penn State will play host to UCLA. Penn State moves up to number 7. They'll be laying 28.5 to the Bruins. Purdue at Wisconsin. Wisconsin, we had them plus 15 against USC, and I thought, man, in the third quarter, we're in such great shape. They were up like 10, so it was like a 25-point game, and all of a sudden, that thing turned on a dime. We ended up, not only did USC come back and get the win, they also covered, so that gave us a loss. But Wisconsin will be laying 13 at home against Purdue, and right now, only 2% of the handle going to the way of the Boilermakers. Tulane at Trent Dilfer's UAB Blazers. Tulane will be laying 14.5. Again, 1% of the handle on UAB, so it's all the green wave all the time. Auburn will travel to Georgia. Georgia, I mean, talk about Jekyll and Hyde first and second half, what that team really is. They'll be laying 24, though, at home. Ole Miss at South Carolina. Ole Miss, this is tough now. Ole Miss, that drop to Kentucky, now it's like murderer's row for them. South Carolina on the horizon, Bama on the horizon. I mean, they're just in a bad spot here. Ole Miss laying 9.5 on the road. I think this will touch 10. I think you do got to look at South Carolina here. I was very, very, very disappointed in Ole Miss and their team and how they played Saturday. Just felt like there was a lack of respect, which shouldn't have been. You already knew Kentucky bowed Georgia a couple weeks prior. Just a really big letdown spot. Iowa at Ohio State. This one could be sneaky. Don't get me wrong. By no means is Iowa going to win this game. Not saying that. But the fact Ohio State's laying 21, I think Iowa could cover. Listen, Iowa's got a really good defense. They're going to shorten the game, keep the ball on the ground. I'm always impressed with Ohio State's running game, especially with those two running backs. The quarterback play, though, with Will Howard, not really impressive. And Ohio State's got to go to Eugene, the game of the year. Other than, I mean, look, it's going to be hard to top Georgia, Alabama, but we still got Alabama, Tennessee on the schedule. We still got Georgia, Tennessee. We still got Georgia. Georgia going to Texas is going to be incredible. Georgia at Texas is going to be incredible. But you can make the argument this Ohio State Oregon game, it could be the game of the year. It's one that everybody's been wanting to see. Ohio State's got to go on the road to that. Don't sleep on Iowa. They're going to be in a heavyweight fight with Iowa. Now, Iowa, I don't think has the offense to win, but listen, with their run game, Iowa can shorten this game up and really run the clock. Ohio State, they're going to have to score quick to speed this thing up. I think Iowa could get within this number. We'll talk about it as the week goes on. Oklahoma State laying 4 to West Virginia. All the futures I had on Oklahoma State to win the Big 12. I feel like I might as well just put them in my pipe and smoke them. Bama at Vanderbilt. Bama 24 laying on the road. Another big game. ACC implications. Clemson have fight and scrapped and clawed their way back to 15 in the country. DJ Uiagalelei and Florida State will welcome Clemson. Clemson laying 15. Now, look, this is a big game. Florida State's done, they're over with. But if they got any kind of pride, and if Florida State's going to get up for any other game outside of like Miami, and DJ Uiagalelei playing his old team, his old coach, this is where you would see Florida State stand up. Clemson, on the other hand, you know what they're thinking. Florida State's looked horrible for style points because styles matter. We got to go out there and blow them out. And Clemson really wasn't able to do that against Stanford. They didn't look the way that I thought they would. Laying 15, I'll be interested to see which way this line goes. Another team, I'm going to put them on upset alert, Tennessee at Arkansas. I'm a big believer in Tennessee, but the fact they're laying 14 at Arkansas, if I can get 14.5 or 15 with Arkansas, I'll take it all day long. They're a dangerous team. They can score. They're physical. Tennessee, they got a big road ahead of them. I do like everything they're doing. I do think they get in the college football playoff. However, this is a big game. And if Ole Miss Kentucky taught us anything, every week in the SEC is going to be a flat-out battle. USC travels to Minnesota. USC, the much better team, but laying 9, little different atmosphere for USC, right? These Big Ten games where these Pac-12 teams are going up against these Big Ten teams. I know the Pac-12 teams are real flashy. Now they've moved to the Big Ten, right? Oregon to the Big Ten, USC to the Big Ten, UCLA, who stinks, to the Big Ten, Washington to the Big Ten. But I think it's a different brand, the physicality. Minnesota here, I'm looking at that. I think Minnesota could stay within this number. We'll have the final breakdowns on Friday, but just at first glance, I'm definitely intrigued. Michigan at Washington. Washington's a 3-point favorite. I can tell you right now, Michigan's going to be the trendy dog of the week. So want to keep an eye on that game. I want to see how that line moves. Central Florida at Florida. Florida's laying 1. Coming off the bye, I have no idea how Florida's favored over anybody. And Billy, I have no idea Napier. But hey, whatevs. Florida getting all the love, -1. I think you got to look at Central Florida after they got shellacked by Colorado and Sanders. I think they come back with a vengeance. Gus Malzahn will be ready to have them playing for sure. Duke at Georgia Tech. Duke 5-0. Georgia Tech 3-2. Odds makers say we don't care. Georgia Tech, you're a 7.5-point favorite. A lot of points here. I do think now, again, you will hear me say this forever. I think NFL teasers are awesome. You can make a lot of money. College football teasers, you got to really spot bet. This week, I typically only play 1 a week. This week, I played Notre Dame at pick with Alabama plus 8.5. Was all about that. Georgia Tech, I think, is a perfect 2-team money line parlay or a 6.7-point teaser bet. Georgia Tech does get the win here. I don't see Duke going into Georgia Tech and winning. Manny Diaz is undefeated. Season will come to an end at the hands of the rambling wreck of Georgia Tech on Saturday. But you got to find a partner to have them dance with. Arkansas getting them up more to plus points. Minnesota getting them up more to plus points. Those could be a couple options. Toledo at home just to beat Miami of Ohio. That could be an option. So, again, a lot of different things to consider. Boston College pushing them up to 10.5. That would be an option. So a couple things out there on the horizon to look at. Kansas, their season is just absolutely falling apart. They travel to Arizona State. They're catching 3.5. I actually like the Jayhawks here, believe it or not. I can't give a whole lot of reasons why other than just a gut feel, but I think it's a good spot for them. San Diego State laying 3 at home to Hawaii. This one, sneaky game, folks. Sneaky game. Miami laying 13 at Cal. Now, look, Miami sputtered against South Florida. They sputtered against Virginia Tech and should have got beat. I love Cal to cover this spread, and Miami better be careful. Cal's played tough. Again, I've said this from the beginning. I'll never question Cam Ward. I'll never question Miami's talent. I will question Mario Cristobal all day, every day. The guy's an idiot. The guy cannot motivate. The guy cannot coach. I don't care if he is an alum. Mario Cristobal is not the guy that's going to bring the U back. And unfortunately, because of talent and recruiting and NIL, he's going to get a little bit longer leash here because Miami's been bad for so many years. But Mario Cristobal will find a way to screw this thing up. 2 weeks in a row, he's already almost screwed up. They should have lost at home to Virginia Tech. Now they got to go across the country and play Cal this week. That is just not a good situation for them. Again, Cal, they've already played Auburn, played Florida State. Maybe not the best team, so to speak, but they've played up in competition. I just think, and that Cal program just keeps getting better and better and better. I wanted to take a quick peek here because I haven't dug into actually breaking down the game. So Miami has a bye week next week. And after that, Miami goes to Louisville, right? So I think both of these two road games, Cal and Louisville, Miami needs to be on high upset alert. Again, I don't like what they're bringing to the table. Don't like what they're doing. Again, Cam Ward and company, I'm never going to question that whatsoever, but I just think they haven't played well. Arizona, they got the big win at Utah. Now they're laying 6 at home to Texas Tech. So if we look now, see if we refresh the odds here, see if they have them up. All right, so to make the college football playoff, Alabama is now minus $12. Not good there, but looking down, it's got Alabama, Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, Tennessee, Georgia, Miami, Penn State, Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame is where you start to get out of the minuses and plus. So Notre Dame even money. Missouri plus 105, Ole Miss plus 110, Clemson plus 160. Look, I think Clemson plus 160 is really good value. I think Penn State minus $1.70 is good value. Boise State, they've dropped like a rock. You could have got them at 9-1 last week. Now they're down to 200. Looking down at a couple others, this Big 12, keep an eye on Iowa State. They just keep winning and everybody else keeps losing. Michigan 8-1 to make the college football playoff. Iowa still down there 10-1. UNLV they've dropped like a rock. You could have got 27-1 2 weeks ago. They're now down to 11-1. Colorado and Oklahoma 12-1. If you skip down a little further, a couple more long shots. Nebraska, Illinois 25-1. Oklahoma State all the way 35-1. Like I said, they're in just dire trouble there. So those are where the odds to make the college football playoffs are. If we go and we look at futures, switching back to baseball for the World Series, to win the World Series, Dodgers 3.5-1, Phillies 3.5-1, Yankees 4.5-1, Astros 8.5-1, Guardians 11-1, Padres 11-1. Listen, I still think the Padres are phenomenal value. I love the Padres. Orioles 12-1. Brewers 19-1. Listen, I can't argue with the Brewers. I've been saying this for weeks. All they do is keep winning. What do you want me to do? All they do is keep winning. Kansas City Royals 25-1. The Braves, man, if Riley didn't go down, they were without Acuna and Strider, and then they got hot, but then Riley went down. If Riley didn't go down, this 25-1 would have looked nice. Tigers 27-1, Mets 32-1, Diamondbacks 48-1, but you don't even know if the Mets, Diamondbacks, or Braves are getting in yet. But listen, Tigers 27-1, they've been the hottest team in baseball. I wouldn't take a shot on the Royals. I don't believe in the Royals at all. I wouldn't take a shot on the Orioles. The Orioles are going to break your heart. Again, I think Astros Phillies is where this thing falls, or Astros Padres. I really like the Padres, man. They're pitching when they're healthy, and they got Cease and Musgrove and Darvish, and I mean, they got a really good rotation. They got a really good bullpen. They can hit the ball. So I think the Padres are definitely a live team here. Padres 11-1 and Brewers 19-1. I know you say, yeah, they're in there with the Dodgers and the Phillies. I like the Phillies. I'm not going to lie. I've had the Phillies all year, but do not get sucked into this Dodger thing, folks. Dodgers can't pitch. Dodgers do not have enough pitching to win the World Series. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I just do not think the Dodgers have enough pitching to win the World Series by no stretch of the imagination. If you're looking at league winners to win the American League, Yankees 2-1, Guardians they're plus 320, Astros 4-1, Orioles 5.5-1, Tigers 11-1 to win that. National League, you got the Dodgers plus 165, Phillies plus $1.75, Padres 6-1 to win the National League, Brewers 9.5-1. Then you got the Braves and Mets both falling in line 14-1 to win the National League. If you look at the 4 teams to win the championship in the WNBA, again, I would get the New York Liberty now. Today's probably going to be the last time you can get them this low. Minus 125 for the Liberty. Connecticut Sun, plus 380. The Lynx 5-1. Aces 5.5-1. Again, if you want the New York Liberty, today's probably the last day to bet that. Maybe you take a shot of the Aces win game 2 and you get a little bit cheaper price, but I think it's pretty clear. I said Liberty and Sun. Now, FanDuel here, Barstool has a cool thing. Liberty versus Sun, even money. I think before the series, you could have got a little bit better price on that. I think it's going to be the Connecticut Sun and the New York Liberty. I felt that all along. But if you're going to make a long play on the Liberty, I would do that today, or definitely before the game goes off tomorrow for sure. So again, Friday we'll be back. A little bit shorter show today. Got construction. I do apologize. We'll have notes and stuff on. Again, please click subscribe down there in the bottom. Have notes on every game here within the hour. We'll have notes posted up for the Lions, Seahawks, and for the Dolphins, Titans. Again, go to breaktheboardsports.com, put in code winners24, get you this whole next week free. So it'll take you Monday Night Football through Monday Night Football. After that, if you want to cancel, you can cancel if you don't like what we provide. Notes will be up throughout the week on all the games, on all the sports. Be breaking down baseball, notes on baseball daily, videos. Follow us on TikTok, and you can follow us on X. Again, breaktheboardsports.com. Please click subscribe. Y'all have a great day and happy handicapping.